All right, you're listening to WNCW live music from Andy Ferrell, and he's playing tunes off his new CD, which is called At Home and in Nashville, and that's from the Nashville side right on the CD.
That sure is.
And another New Year's Eve. Okay, what's the backstory? Was that all in one New Year's Eve?
That it did not all happen in one New Year's Eve. It was I was spending some time in Mexico. I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, laying around on the beach writing songs and trying to come up with tunes to play. And that was one that I kind of just got working on, kind of manifested itself, walking around down there, the little island out there in Mexico, and observing and thinking about what was going on all over the world on New Year's Eve. Hence, back on the bayou there, and you got the sailor. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
So you make it sound really idyllic. Like, is that how songwriting is? You go to Mexico, you lay on the beach.
No, it's more a lot of cheap hotels and not getting paid very much money to drive hundreds of miles. But
it's good though. Huh?
We love it. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I read a quote from you somewhere that travel is how you can write. That's where the writing comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be somewhere idyllic like you're saying. I mean, pretty much something about the movement. I don't know what it is. If I'm kind of having a hard time writing something, I'll just take a drive for the day and go somewhere unfamiliar, and seems to kind of get the juices flowing in there.
Man, that comes right out of that folk tradition that you've been talking about.
Yeah,
right? That's
absolutely.
That's the source of it all.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Tell us about the new CD. You did it's an independent release? Did you do the design on it? It's your
yeah. It's all more or less done independently. Yeah. It kind of started to form its first seeds. Sprouted in Denver, Colorado. I was out there doing a tour with my band a couple summers ago and met up with the producer, Lance Ben Dixon, who I owe a huge debt to for that record. He helped me pull all the arrangements together, and long story short, 9 months later or so, we were in Nashville and getting all the tracks laid down for the studio part, and then just kind of went from there. Like I said, got those and ended up doing the live takes as well at the Jones house, and here we are now.
So the second half, the live takes, one shot. Did you doctor them up? How did that work?
I mean, they're mixed and mastered, but they're not overdubbed or anything. I did two takes of every song in front of some friends and family and stuff.
You had a plan there. It wasn't just like, that was a good show, I'll put it on a record.
Yeah. It was more planned than that.
Nice. Okay. Again, you can hear this for yourself tomorrow night up at the ISIS Music Hall in Nashville. Big city release show. With the full band, you do some solo stuff too, or is it?
More with the band. More with the band these days. I love having the bass and the fiddle. They're both really talented as well. And more recently, Alexa's been joining me on some vocals here. So I like a few more people, a little more drive, a little more swing, get some people dancing.
I'm always curious with songwriters. When you're writing a song, are you thinking about arrangement and band and other instruments, or just the song, or how does that?
Normally it's more lyrics and the music for me before anything else, and then that's a great thing I love working with the musicians I work with now is they have great ideas too. I like to do my part, the lyrics and the guitar, and see what they have to say about it. Right. That's part of the fun for it. Fun of it.
Which came first for you? Songwriting, playing guitar, singing? How did it all?
That's a good question. Singing was definitely last. I think I started by writing lyrics to other people's songs. Like in high school, I would just write songs that were stuck in my head, and then that progressed to writing my own lyrics, to learning the guitar to play them on, to singing.
Yeah, I know I have friends who are novelists, and sometimes they'll copy pages of a novel to jumpstart themselves. So it's interesting kind of hearing that from a songwriting point of view.
I hadn't heard that. That makes a lot of sense, though, now that I think about it.
Cool. Interesting stuff. So anyhow, again, congratulations to the new CD from At Home and in Nashville. By the way, so you're from Boone originally, but you're up in Nashville these days, right?
That is correct. Yeah, I moved there in September. I like to move around a lot. I've been a bunch of places since Boone. Most recently, though, before I moved to Asheville, I was kind of creeping into town. I was living in Swannanoa for the summer, and then I was living out in the middle of nowhere in Pisgah Forest for the winter, which was a very interesting and fun time out there as well.
Some strange folks up there in Pisgah Forest.
Yeah, and some no folks also in some places.
That's where I live.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So again, you can catch this show with the band tomorrow night at ISIS up in Asheville, and I'm sure copies of the CD will be on hand. And
they certainly